It's September 15, 2022. My name is Jimmy Van, and it's time for KYN Live, the first live edition of this podcast where we talk about news stories that are funny, weird, or stupid, and 100% real. And I got a special guest this week. She's got a dog named after Roman Reigns. She once dreamt that she was in a mixed tag team match at WrestleMania. And she says if Bad Bunny wants to kiss her man, he better go for it or she will dump his ass. She is the co-host of the Ludicrous Report, which you can see Tuesday afternoons at 3 o'clock Eastern time, right here at Know Your News. This is Issa the Demon Diva. Issa, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. What an intro. I'm going to have you introduce me all the time.
Everybody says that. I feel like I'm doing something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're a great hype man.
Well, I'm not going to question you on the Bad Bunny thing. I don't judge. That's your business. That's all I'm going to say about it. But
listen, I'm just saying, if I can get the kiss and he's wanting to kiss my man, I would Rhea Ripley that man, knock him out and deliver him to Bad Bunny for the kiss, okay?
All right, well, here's what's going to happen. We are going to talk to KYN 7 of the top news stories of the week that are funny, stupid, or weird. I'm going to get your reactions, and I'll ask you questions along the way. And because we're finally live, this is the first live edition, guys, get in your super chats to get your question or statement read on the air. And if you don't want to donate through YouTube, you can catch the show, or you can't catch the show live, I should say. Go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution of any size, and you can get your question or statement read anytime on the next edition of this podcast. I got 7 good ones again. Issa, are you ready to go?
I am ready.
Let's start with story number 7, reported by the Associated Press. So there's a little place called Liechtenstein. It's a small European nation, a German-speaking nation, located between Austria and Switzerland. The local politicians, they were in parliament and they were having a debate about whether they should mandate insurance in case of an earthquake, meaning either an employer or an individual would have to obtain private insurance in case of an earthquake. In the middle of their debate, they ran into a problem. Issa, what do you think happened?
There's never any earthquakes there?
Well, no, there are earthquakes, which is why they want to mandate insurance.
Okay.
And what happened was right in the middle of that debate, as they're talking about
an earthquake happened.
A 4.1 magnitude earthquake, and we have video of it. Go ahead, Joel.
Im Weiteren stellt sich für mich in diesem Zusammenhang dann auch die Frage.
Das wird langsam heftig.
So the leaders rushed out of there after that happened. They adjourned the session. It doesn't sound like anybody was hurt, so they were okay. But I got to tell you, okay, I am not a religious guy, but if there was ever a time when like a sign came down, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They better mandate that damn earthquake insurance after that one. You know? What do you think about that?
That's the first thing I think about. I'm the same way. I'm not very religious, but I do believe in like signs that the universe or destiny sends you, right? That's definitely a sign. Like my next question will be like, did they sign it right then and there on the spot after it happened? They had to.
They damn well should have if they didn't. You know what I mean? I mean, they're lucky. They're lucky they weren't debating something else. They're lucky they weren't debating, okay, we have to get insurance because we keep on having these enormous sinkholes that are popping up all over the place. You know what I mean?
Well, that was my original thought. That's where my brain took it. Like maybe there's a place that earthquakes never happen. And they thought for a second, you know what? Why are we doing this? But it's the complete opposite, apparently.
That's funny. That'd be like.
I have a funny earthquake story. You want to hear it?
Sure. Yeah. Let's hear it.
So I don't know if you know this, but a couple of years ago, Puerto Rico was experiencing like nonstop earthquakes. And so I that's when I was living in New York City. So I came to visit my mom. Now, remember, I live in New York City, so I'm used to the subway all the time, right? So apparently there is an earthquake happening. My mom is freaking out. I'm just sitting in the bed doing my makeup because I assumed it was the subway going under the building.
Ah. Interesting. Was it? This doesn't sound like it was too serious, though, right? Like it didn't cause much damage.
It wasn't a bit. Well, no, it was bigger, closer to where it happened. We just felt kind of like the backlash of it. But if you felt it, I mean, if you ever been in New York, you feel the buildings shake from the subways, right? I think my original train of thought was just, oh yeah, just the train going by. Like I completely forgot where I was. My mom is looking at me like, "Hello, are you not gonna move?" And I'm just sitting there putting on lipstick.
Very interesting.
I didn't realize I was in the middle of an earthquake. Good time.
Well, let me ask you my question on this one. So every story that I do, I like to ask my guests a question that's somehow related. And so here's my question for you on this one. Have you ever been on the fence about a decision only to get a sign from above that led you to choose one way over the other?
Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Let's hear it.
I remember just making the decision of trying to go to this is not probably very in-depth, but it was like trying to go to Vegas for my birthday. And I wanted to celebrate my birthday in Vegas because it was 1-1-1-1-1, and that was only going to happen once in my lifetime, right? So I didn't know if I wanted to take the trip. And I remember literally it started playing on the radio, Viva Las Vegas by Elvis Presley, which is far from the kind of music that I listen to. So I took it as a sign and I took that trip.
Amazing. Okay. Something tells me that could have been any song from Elvis Presley. And you would have been like, okay, I got to go to Vegas now.
Oh, I'm going to Vegas.
Got to go to Vegas.
As long as it was Elvis. But the fact that it was Viva Las Vegas. Come on.
Very true. Very true. All right, let's move on to story number 6, reported by Next Shark. So there's a 32-year-old woman. These stories are just awesome. What can I tell? Every week they're good. 32-year-old woman out of Thailand, and she wanted to get cosmetic enhancement done to her eyebrows, but she didn't have a lot of money. So she decided to go to a budget clinic on a friend's recommendation in order to get eyebrow tattooing done for a very cost-effective 1,500 baht, which is about $41, which is pretty damn cheap. Isa, what happened?
Too cheap.
What happened next?
I don't know. They gave her a tattoo of some Chinese symbol or something.
That might have been better, maybe. What happened was the clinic somehow tattooed the eyebrows above her natural ones. So now she's got 4 of them. We got a picture of it, Joel. Go ahead. Look at that right there. Now, I understand it's a budget clinic and I understand you get what you pay for. But if you're that tattoo artist, how do you possibly fuck that up? Like, how do you fuck that up? Even though, you know, she got it done on the cheap.
There's a lot that goes into microblading. That's actually the term for getting your eyebrows, you know, permanently done. A decision that I refuse to make for personal reasons. Eyebrow fashion changes a lot, believe it or not. Sometimes they're in thin, sometimes they're in thick. And I feel like if you go and get a microbladed, now you're getting them permanently in that shape and form, right? I would assume that maybe they had like just a regular tattoo artist, and that's not the kind of person that should be microblading eyebrows. There's a whole schooling and process that they have to go through. At this point, I really feel like this was just a regular tattoo artist that just tatted some eyebrows on her.
Interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say eyebrow fashion. I've never heard the term eyebrow fashion. So I think you just coined it, you know? Well,
I'm going to go to Urban Dictionary and right away.
You should write it. Eyebrow fashion. So this woman, she hid at home for a year in embarrassment after getting that done. Then another tattoo artist offered to fix her eyebrows for free because he heard about her story. So he offered to fix them for free. And here's the end result. That's a lot better, right?
Yeah, now she went to an actual microblading place. That looks like the way it should have looked to begin with. The first one looked like a tattoo. That looked like a microbladed eyebrow. And
they say in every field, it doesn't matter what it is, you get what you pay for. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay $41, you're going to get what you're going to get. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever had...
I pay more than that every time that I get my eyebrows done. And they're not...
Probably, well, yeah, of course. I mean, she is in Thailand, but, you know. Well, let me ask you this question. Have you ever had any kind of self-improvement treatment or procedure done that didn't exactly go the way that you thought it would? It could be anything. Anything that didn't go the way you thought it would.
I mean, most of my stories, I'm very particular with my skincare routine, anything like that. So I don't cheapen out on that. So I would say piercings will probably be the ones that have given me more of a headache. And I do consider that some kind of enhancement, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So piercings have always been my nightmare.
Do I want to know why? Like, is it strictly the pain?
It's mostly like the healing process. For example, I have like this piercing called an industrial, which is a bar that goes across your whole ear. I don't know what ear I have it on even because I got it done so many times. So you can see it. It's a bar that goes across. And the healing process and me wanting to have long hair, like it just made it a lot worse. I have a lot of like nightmare piercing stories. And then I go and get them done again because why not?
Fascinating. Well, I'm glad that that's the direction that your answer went, because otherwise I didn't know what kind of shit I was stepping into here. All right, reminder, guys, get in your super chats to get your question or statement read on the air. And if you can't catch the show live, go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution of any size, and we'll read your question or statement on the next show. Let's go, Issa, to story number 5, reported by NDTV. Another interesting one. So there's a residential school in Dumka, which is a city in India. The 9th grade class had a math exam. And out of the 32 kids that were in the class, 11 of them got a failing grade on the test. Issa, how did the students react to getting a failing grade?
I mean, they didn't. If they passed, if they didn't study, or was the test easy? Were they expecting to pass? I have a lot of questions here.
They weren't happy about their failing grade, I'll tell you that.
Uh-oh.
So what do you think happened?
A riot.
So you're kind of close. So what they did was they tied the teacher to a tree and beat him with a stick as part of a public display. We got video of this courtesy of NDTV. Go ahead, Joel. So there they are right there, tied to the tree. They also tied up a couple of clerks from the school. So the teachers tied up plus a couple of the clerks. There are 200 students in the school. Most of them got involved in some way or another. Classes were suspended for 2 days, during which the kids were sent home, because this was a residential school. So the kids were sent home. And there's no word if anybody got hurt. But I got to say, those guys were barely tied to that tree. And they sure as hell, they didn't look too concerned. One dude is like leaning on the trees, got his hand on his hip. He didn't look too concerned. Do you think this whole thing was for show? Like, what the hell do you think was going on?
Oh my God, I question everything that I see. I'm the kind of person that just doesn't trust anything. This will be one of those that I will tell you it seems like it's staged.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah, I mean, he could have just, there was a man that had long legs. He could have literally just jumped over, like gotten himself out of that. Yeah.
Unless he thought they were going to beat the shit out of him with the stick if he did, I guess, because the student was standing there with the stick in his hand.
Yeah, but he's bigger than the student. I mean, he could say, I'm sorry, I'm like over here, like, fight those kids. I don't know. It's fair game.
What's the end game? Do you think that they're thinking that this is somehow going to go viral and make them stars or something? Like, what? I don't understand what the purpose would be to setting that up.
I mean, there are some stupid people out there that they do certain things just for that. Did you ever see on YouTube the guy that did the real life Grand Theft Auto chase? And then they're interviewing him for prison. And he's like, I'm viral on YouTube. When I get out of here, I'm going to get all this YouTube money. Like, he did it just to go viral.
Right. That's possible. Well,
yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Have you ever gotten a bad grade or a bad review that you didn't take very well?
No. Grades? No.
What about like any kind of a bad review, maybe criticism online, anything where I know you got that Puerto Rican blood. You know what I'm saying? I know this.
Yeah, I'm ready to fight anyone, so people kind of don't come for me. I do. I mean, once you become a content creator, you're a public person, right? You're putting yourself out there for people to disagree or agree with your opinion. I don't pay attention to that, and it's the way that I deal with it. Do I get them all the time? Do I give them the time of my day? No, I don't have enough time to be dealing with that. My time is money,
Okay, good for you. This is like a public service announcement. You know what I mean?
I feel like if you give them attention, you're giving them what they want. So no, and technically speaking, I always tell people I use Twitter as like therapy. Like, I'm just talking to myself publicly. That's it. I don't check my notifications. I don't check anything. I just do it to put a thought out into the universe. Of my own universe. I forget that people read it at the time.
Positivity. Well, if anybody needs a failing grade, I think it's the dude in this next story. So let's go to story number 4, reported by WJLA News. I can't wait to get your reaction to this one. So this year marks the 21st anniversary of 9/11. There's a country club in Manassas, Virginia called the Clubhouse at Aquia Harbor. The manager of this place, his name is George White. He claimed that he wanted to bring attention to that day because he wanted to honor those that lost their lives. Issa, what did Mr. White, the manager of this country club, what did he decide to do?
Hold a memorial.
He created a 9/11 seafood menu with items on it, including the first responder flatbread and the Remember Teeny. We got pictures of the menu. Joel, put up the first one. Look at this right here. Seafood Sunday, first responder flatbread. They got the Pentagon pie. He's got the Freedom flounder, the 9/11 oysters. Put up the other one, Joel. The Never Forget sampler. This fucking guy put up. And the Remember Teeny. As you can imagine.
That Remember Teeny got me. I'm not going to lie. I was against this idea until I saw the drink.
Well, the guy got a lot of shit, as you can imagine. He got shit on hard. A lot of people claim that he was tone deaf and that he was insensitive. They got backlash on their Facebook page for this country club place. The menu was taken down. The manager said, he was sorry. He apologized for it. Maybe it's just me. You can't tell me that he wasn't trying to make money off 9/11. Like, why else would he do that, right?
You're profiting off of a tragedy, like 1,000%. That's the first thing I thought about when you went where you went to with this news. I wasn't expecting that.
And you being from New York, or you spent time in New York, what if you happen to stroll into this country club in Manassas, Virginia? What if you strolled in there and you're like, hey, I feel like I got a little bit of a craving for some seafood. And he gives you the menu and it's the 9/11 menu. How'd you feel about that?
I would call him out just for profiting on tragedy. Like that's it. Like, at least don't make it sound like you're trying to bring awareness to the day. No, you're trying to make money off of one of the, if not the most tragic day in American history. Like, don't do that.
So this is one dude that you damn sure is not going to be kissing Bad Bunny. You know what I mean?
Bad Bunny would never kiss this guy.
Yeah, Bad Bunny wouldn't touch this guy. Yeah. So I got to ask you, Issa the Demon Diva, if you were going to create a menu that reflected your life, what would the main course, the dessert, and the signature drink be? Okay.
The signature drink would definitely be called like something like Demon Passion, and it would be my favorite drink. It's my favorite summer cocktail in Puerto Rico, which is passion fruit liquor called Pasoa, very good, with orange juice and cranberry juice. That's it. I'm not serving anything else but alcohol.
That's your whole menu?
Yeah, I'm not a big eater, Jimmy Van. I'm not big on food.
So your main course, your dessert, and your signature drink is just
okay,
a cereal bowl of alcohol.
I do make a killer flan, so I will make some flan de queso. It's delicious. I do make the best flan there is. I've been told that a million times, and some people want me to like start selling it, and I'm like, you really think I want to spend my days in the kitchen? No.
All right. So if anybody ever wants to go to Demon Diva's restaurant and get absolutely hammered, she's got the lineup ready for you. You know what I'm saying? All right.
That's what it's all about.
Let's go on to story number 3.
No. I want to know your lineup of food.
My lineup of food?
Yeah.
So it would depend, because there was kind of like the old me when it came to food, and there's kind of like the new me when it comes to food. You know what I mean? The old me, I grew up in a European household. They ate a lot of butter and, processed meats and stuff like that. Now I try to eat a lot cleaner. And so I don't know. I guess I'd have to go for a mix. Like, one of my, if garlic bread and cheese and chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, if those had the nutritional content of broccoli, I would live off of that. You know what I mean? I would live off of it. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. But I do a pretty good green smoothie. So I'd probably have a green smoothie on there.
Does it taste good?
It does taste good. Yes, it does.
I've been sold on so many green smoothies, and then I go to taste them, and I'm like, it tastes horrible. Like, I don't want to eat this.
So I will DM you the recipe off the air.
Okay.
So yeah, I got a solid green smoothie, and I've been drinking it for years. My kids, from the time that they could have solid food, they've both been having the green smoothie too. So
yeah, I've been trying to find some kind of drink to take before I go to the gym, because I don't like to eat heavy, but I can't go to the gym on an empty stomach. So people have been recommending me like smoothies or this and that. I haven't found one that I like the way it tastes.
I am gonna hook you up. All right, trust me.
I will give you the review too.
Oh, I'm sure you will. All right. Final reminder, guys, get your super chats in, get your question or statement read on the air, or go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution of any size, and we'll read your question or statement on the next episode. Let's go to story number 3, reported by the Times of Israel. You can relate to this one. I know you can relate to this one. And so something tells me you're going to defend this guy. This is what's going to happen. So there's a 35-year-old man out of Israel. and he was arrested after he posted a video on social media of himself driving recklessly down the streets. And these were narrow streets that he was driving down. Issa, what was the guy doing that was causing him to drive recklessly?
Was he on his phone?
That's a good answer. He put his dog on his lap and he had the dog steering the wheel. We have video of this courtesy of Con News. Look at this guy. Look how happy that dog is.
He's so excited.
He's so excited.
Oh, look, what a good boy.
The dog, I don't think it's raining, but the dog's got the wipers going. Did you see that?
Yeah, my dog does that.
So after he got arrested, police discovered that his car didn't have roadworthy certification. And so they added additional charges. So the guy got it even more hot water over that. Now, you just kind of alluded to it. I believe that I have seen pictures of that dog right there in a similar situation. Is there anything that you want to admit to, Issa?
I've done this safely, but I've done it. When I sit in the car, so Roman is a very needy dog. As you can see, I have to do the podcast with him on my lap sometimes. Otherwise, he'll just bark nonstop. And when we get in the car, he's picked up this love for car rides, which I didn't know he had because I didn't drive in New York, right? In Puerto Rico, you need a car. But every time I get him in the car, he sits on my lap and he puts his two little paws on the wheel. And I'm still driving. I have controlled the car, but yeah, I've done this. And I didn't get pulled over necessarily, but a cop was like stopped next to me here in Puerto Rico at one point, and they were like, you can get a ticket for that. And I was like, okay, I'll pay it.
Did I pick the right story for the right guest, or did I not?
Yeah, I'm a very good dog mom, but I'm the worst. Like, he's spoiled, he has no manners, but he's my baby. So if he wants to drive, I'll help him.
So here's my question for this one, and I'm almost scared to ask this question because I don't know what direction you might go with this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Have you ever been in a situation in which you or somebody else was in the driver's seat of the car, but they weren't the ones steering it?
Yes, I've been in the passenger seat steering for someone.
Okay, and why did you have to do that?
Because my sister needed to finish her makeup. We wanted to look good.
Okay, I got it. So your sister decides she's probably going down the freeway, and your sister decides, oh, shit, I forgot to finish my mascara. Issa, do you mind? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, because when we got to the restaurant we were going, they have ballet. So it's not like you have time to park and do it in the parking lot. We were going to have to get out and go in. So you can't go in unfinished. When you put it the way that you put it, it does sound horrible. When you see it from my perspective.
I just don't want you to, crash. You know what I'm saying?
No, we were driving. There was traffic. Like, we weren't driving that fast. But
So
I'm a great passenger side, like, steerer.
I think once again, we have learned that this podcast has become a 30-minute public service announcement. And we're basically saving lives today. That's what we're doing, Issa. We're saving lives today. Let's move on to story number 2, reported by the Asbury Park Press. This is another interesting
Asbury
one. Park.
This is going to be a mess already.
She's already with it. She already knows. There's going to be a train wreck. So in the township of Lakewood, New Jersey, they were having a problem with homeless people hanging around the town square. And the mayor claimed that they were getting complaints from residents about the homeless. They're hanging out in the shade under the trees and they're harassing people and they're defecating between cars. So the township came up with a solution to try to prevent the homeless people from spending time in the town square. Issa, what was this brilliant idea that the township of Lakewood, New Jersey came up with?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how you keep people from going out to hang out somewhere. And I would just play really obnoxious music.
Probably better answer than what they did. They decided to chop down all the trees in the town square. We got pictures, Joel. Look at that, Issa. Look at that.
What's the purpose of this?
because they said the homeless were hanging out in the shade. They said they were hanging out in the shade under the trees. So they decided to chop down all the trees. The mayor of the town, his name is Ray Coles. He said removing the trees would make it a little less comfortable for people to live under them. But as you can imagine, this is not going over well. I mean, the public voted for this idiot. You know what I mean? They voted for this guy. So he decided, you know what? Let's destroy all the green space and let's fuck up the aesthetics of the town square. Now, I'm not a politician, and I sure as hell don't want to be a politician, but wouldn't it make more sense? Wouldn't it make more sense just create shelter for the homeless?
That's the first thing I thought about. Make a shelter.
Doesn't that make more sense?
A lot more sense. And you would think this is a park area, no trees. It just looks ridiculous. No trees need to be cut from the world right now. We need to be planting more trees, if I'm being honest. And
right.
Yeah, it's Asbury Park though. Nothing that you give me out of that place will surprise me.
So I could have told you anything. I could have said, okay, what they decided to do is the mayor decided he's just going to take bigger shits than them, and in order to get them away, you'd have been like, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right. Mm-hmm.
So talking about pooping between cars, have you ever been in a situation where there was no bathroom in sight, but you really, really had to go?
Not that I can recall in my adult life.
In your adult life?
Yeah, I think my mom has a little picture of me peeing somewhere when I was a child. And I'm like, Mom, my mom used to play softball. So we would go to like these all day long softball tournaments. And it was either use the dirty bathrooms from the softball parks or you go outside, give me baby wipes, but not as an adult. No.
Interesting. So you've never, like say been on a long road trip or something and, you're on one of those highways and there's no rest stops anywhere near, you know what I'm saying? Nothing?
Yeah, no, I do pretty good at managing my stops to make sure that I can make it to the next one. I mean, it's like, normal. My dog might be driving, but I'm timing those stops perfectly, Jimmy.
Got it. So in your words, you can handle that stuff. Your dog might be driving. Your sister might be doing her makeup, but there are no pee issues or poop issues on the road with the Demon Diva. I got it. Good for you. All right. Well, let's go on to story number 1. We're at story number 1 already. And this one, I think you're going to find interesting too. And the first thing I want to ask you is, do you remember the Cabbage Patch Kids?
Of course I do.
Remember big in the 80s, right? And they're hard to get and everybody's clamoring for them. And it was kind of like what Tickle Me Elmo became later. It was like the toy that everybody wanted,
Yeah, my sister wanted one badly, and my mom went through, especially in Puerto Rico, went through a lot to get it. You know that my sister developed an allergic reaction to the material they were made out of, so we had to give it away.
No way, really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, it triggered her allergies and her asthma.
Interesting. Well, in the town of Cleveland, Georgia, they've got a place called Babyland, which they say is the home of the Cabbage Patch Kids, and so it's become a tourist attraction. In Babyland, they have the Babyland General Hospital, and on display there, they have what they call Mother Cabbage. And Mother Cabbage is supposed to be where the Cabbage Patch Kids are born. And we have a picture of Mother Cabbage. Do you have that picture, Joel?
I'm already creeped out.
So that big thing, not the nurse there, that big thing is supposed to be Mother Cabbage. And you see all the little Cabbage Patch dolls, that are all, newborns hanging around Mother Cabbage. That's what they have in the Babyland General Hospital. People have been documenting their experience at Babyland, and it's freaking some people out. And so my question for you is, what is it about this whole thing that's freaking people out?
Just the baby's heads on the ground. No big deal.
I mean, that's a good answer, but it gets a little worse. So what they do is they put on a show where Mother Cabbage gives birth to the doll, complete with an ultrasound, pain medication, deep breathing, and having everyone in attendance yell push. And we got video. We got video courtesy of Road Trip Parents. Go ahead, Joel.
Let's do that one more time, and I think she'll be here. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. And here she is.
Look, I understand that people are obsessed with toys and video games, right? I get it. But I got to tell you, I collect the WWF LJN action figures. You know, those big rubber wrestling figures from the 80s. I collect those. If somebody told me, hey, there is a LJN land and you can go there and they have a display with a ring and like every half an hour, Hulk Hogan is born. You know, he comes out of like a turnbuckle and he's born. There's no fucking way I'm going to LJN land, let alone baby land. What are your thoughts on, you know, they're birthing dolls in front of tourists? What are your thoughts on this, Isa?
I thought that the heads on the ground was more creepy. I hated everything that I just saw. This is coming from someone that I find real birds, like there's a reason why I chose not to have children. I really find the real process of giving birth to be disturbing. I don't need to go and see dolls doing it too.
I think that I might have to isolate this clip later on, just at the part where you say, I hated everything that I just saw. I think I might have to take that out because that was amazing. What I might do is I might put that clip on the end of like an AEW match and send it to Tony Khan just to piss people off.
Yes.
I might do that. So have you ever wanted something, much like how that Cabbage Patch doll was like the big thing in the 80s and hard to get? Have you ever wanted something that was in such demand? And hopefully you don't say Roman Reigns and Bad Bunny. Have you ever wanted something that was in such demand that it was impossible to get, but somehow you managed to get it anyway?
I mean, yeah, but that always happens to me. I get very lucky I get what I want, basically, Jimmy Fan. What can I say? The latest example of that is the little plush heart that you see behind me. That's the merch from Bad Bunny's new tour. And I wasn't able to make it to it. I haven't gone to any Bad Bunny concerts. It's still sitting right there. So, you know, you just make things happen. You just got to know people. Was
that hard to get?
Very hard to get because they sell out before the concert even starts. He sets up his merch truck outside of the stadiums like 2 hours before. So even before you arrive for the concert, these things are gone.
Really? So you can't get them online? You can't just go to like Bad Bunny shop online and get them?
No.
Really? So do I want to ask like who you had killed in order to get one of those Bad Bunny hearts back there?
We might be talking about it in the future in one of our news.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Man, maybe I'll be saying I hated everything that I just saw. Maybe that'll be me. Well, I want to thank our guest, Isa the Demon Diva. This was a lot of fun. Tell the people what you're doing and where they can find you.
I'm everywhere. You guys can find me on YouTube, NYC Demon Diva. I'm about to hit 20,000 subscribers, so I appreciate the subscribe. You guys can also find me on Wrestling Inc., Lucha Libre Online, and, you know, all over social media, NYC Demon Diva.
And don't forget the Ludicrous Report, Diva, Isa. Don't forget that one.
You know, because we just started, I had to learn how to add it to my pitch. You know, when you get used to saying the same thing for so long, now I got to add it to my, but I did add it yesterday when I was finishing Wrestling Inc. You'll be proud.
There you go. There you go. Good, good, good. All right. Well, that's going to do it for KYN Live. Tune in next Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern for more silliness that's totally real. Until then, enjoy your time. Isa, this was awesome. We'll do it again.
We got to do it again.